It's game 3 of the World Series. I'm going to tell you why this is a must-win situation for the Dodgers. They've got to get their pitching rotation figured out. Also, NBA news. NBA comes out today and announces a possible start date to their 2021 season. I'm going to tell you exactly when they're proposing to start and why I can't stand this decision. It's a loser. Lastly, we're on the eve of Halloween. Chris and I have picked out some of our favorite athletes and their greatest costumes. I'm going to show those to you. You found the show that helps you be smarter than your friends when it comes to sports. Let's get it started.
You're tuned into the hottest sports analysis of the week with your hosts Ron Dolbeck and Chris Roberts. And now, here's the first round.
It's Zach, Chris, me, and you joining us here live on YouTube in the first round, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Chris, everything is going on. We got MMA, we got college football, we got baseball news, the World Series is going on, we got NBA news, we got NFL news, and you're wearing a hat that will make me money if they win, but also makes me throw up.
Yeah, I see that, but I'm ready for college football tomorrow. I'm ready for this Big Ten to get in, even though they have a late start, to get ahead in the race.
The Big Ten is back.
Yes.
I don't know how excited I want to be because, you and I are in some pools together where we pick against the spread.
Right.
And I'm looking at, Maryland Northwestern. I have no idea what I'm going to get out of these two teams.
Well, you're going to get Maryland probably score 50 points this week and lose by 50 points next week.
That's true. The happiest guy on the set this week has to be Zach because his Tampa Bay Rays are in the World Series. It's now a best of 5. And last week, how happy do you think he was with the Steelers? So just let's back up a half a step. The last 2 weeks, I've gone 7 games I've hit out of 11 against the spread. Last week, I was red hot again. But I did, as soon as he got into the studio today, I was like, I'm just going to hear about it because I took Cleveland like some kind of an idiot. I took the Kardashians to beat Pittsburgh. And he's got his Steelers hat on again. We need to get a little variance with your hat collection, Zach.
Yeah, I need to up my Steelers hats game.
Yeah, you got to up your game.
I only got this one. But yeah, no, I had to come up rocking my gear because he's going to say the Browns were going to beat us. Like, it ain't even a rivalry game. Like, come on.
It is a rivalry game, but I've given up on my brand. I don't know. The Browns, they're just, it's Baker. That's what it is. But there's so much more going on in the world of sports. So let's get to it right now. It has to start in one place. Hello, the Big Ten. We're glad you decided to join us. Big Ten gets a full schedule starting tomorrow on Saturday. Huge games. Chris and I are going to get into them against the spread. Let you know what our picks are. Remember, I went 7 out of 11 against the spread last week. You're making money listening to me. Also in college football news, LSU to start TJ Finley this week at home against South Carolina. Miles Brennan, the quarterback that has started the first couple of games there for LSU. LSU says that he's dealing with a lower body injury. It might be the fact that he has 3 interceptions. I don't know how much to believe about that, but that's what's going on. NC State goes on the road to take on North Carolina. Nebraska opens up at Ohio State. I'm really interested in that game for one reason. I want to see Justin Fields. He's got to be in the top 3 for Heisman contention. Only in a year like 2020 would I say number 25 ranked Coastal Carolina will be taking on Georgia Southern at high noon on Saturday and be a game that I'm kind of interested in. It only happens in 2020. Other games that I'm far more interested in. Number 2 goes on the road to Rocky Top. Alabama taking on Tennessee. How is Notre Dame ranked number 3 in the country? I'm going to continue my march and bash of Notre Dame later in the show when I talk about them going on the road to Pittsburgh to take on the Fighting Narduzzi's. Number 17, Iowa State goes on the road to take on number 6, Oklahoma State. Big game in the Big Ten this week. They open up with Michigan, number 18, Jim Harbaugh. How hot is the seat? We were talking about this last year. We're in the same position. 0 results. They go on the road and take on the boys that know how to row the boat. PJ Fleck and his Minnesota Golden Gophers. That's a primetime game on ESPN 7:30. How about an off-the-board game that not a lot of people are talking about, but I'm interested in? Number 9, Cincinnati taking on SMU. 2 great coaches. Good programs. One's good on defense. The other one's great on offense. I think it's going to be a great matchup. NFL news. How bad is the NFC East with 4 teams, 24 total games played, and the Dallas Circus, the Philadelphia Mash Unit, the New York Abominations, and the Nameless Wonders from Washington, D.C. have managed just 5 wins. They've played 24 games, and the NFC East has managed 5 victories. Chris and I are going to throw up about that later on in the show. Big games in the NFL this week. Dallas going on the road to D.C. I'm putting all my money on a 0-0 tie. Watch it happen. Zach's Pittsburgh Steelers go on the road to take on Tennessee. That is a monster game. We're going to have opinions and picks on that. How about Tampa at 4-2 going on the road to take on the Chuckanators and Las Vegas Raiders? Green Bay looking to bounce back. They take their show on the road to 1-5 Houston. What doesn't make sense here is Houston's 1-5. They have a new coach. Green Bay has one of the best offenses, and they're only favored by 3.5. Somebody's got to talk to me on that one. Detroit goes on the road to Atlanta. I gave you Atlanta to win outright last week against Minnesota when they had no wins. They come up with a huge blowout victory. I've got definite opinions on that game. San Francisco goes on the road to take on the Cam-filled New England Patriots. We're going to have a pick on that one. Sunday night, Seattle 5-0 goes on the road to Arizona. I'm going to tell you why Seattle's going to get it done. And another game, why is that spread so close? Monday Night Football, intriguing matchup. The 5-1 Bears, who I think are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, go on the road to the Rams. Again, this is the week for the weirdest spreads in sports because the Rams are giving points. I can't figure it out. Major League Baseball, we talked about at the top of the show. The World Series is tied 1-1, Game 3 tonight. Dodgers send Walker Buehler to the bump against Charlie Morton against Tampa. I think this is a must-win situation. Chris and I will get into that. MMA news. We're always waiting for the next big fight. It comes tomorrow from Abu Dhabi. How about a 2 p.m. start time so all of us on the East Coast aren't up at 3 in the morning waiting for the title bout that we've wanted to see for 2 months? Khabib taking on Justin Gaethje. Justin comes in at 22-2 record. Weighed in at 155 on the button. But how about the Eagle, the Russian wonder, Khabib, 28-0. I think this is a monster fight. And finally, in the world of sports, Michael Jordan has joined with Novant Health to announce an opening of a second healthcare facility to offer healthcare to people in the Charlotte area who do not have health insurance. And Chris, that's everything going on in the world of sports right now. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me is I'm ready for this Khabib and Justin Gaethje fight. I listened to the interview this week with Khabib this week, and he is ready for
Not a lot of
everything.
smack talk on this one.
Well,
Smack talk low number, quality of the fighters high.
yeah, Khabib is, to me, the guy's like a robot. The guy just tells
Yeah.
you what he's going to do
He is.
and gets in the ring and do
I
it.
pound your face, I smash you. It's like he's like a cyborg.
I mean,
right?
he's like Ivan Drago from Rocky. I will
Yeah.
pound you. I like
smash
seriously.
I smash your face. The funniest line, I mean, this guy has like the personality of a slip of paper. But the funniest line coming up between him and Connor was Ireland 6 million, Russia 60 million. Why is this compare? I don't understand. I smash your face. And it's like he can't quite get the communication breakdown because of language. The humor doesn't translate. But when he tries to talk, you know what he's saying. It's just not. It's funny the way he says it, not actually what he's saying.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, I listened to this interview. I mean, the guy basically says, Justin Gaethje, he's a great fighter. I'm going to wear him down and choke him out. And I'm just like, wow.
I will break him.
I'm like, oh, gosh. And please don't bring up Conor McGregor ever again. He's like, I don't want to fight him. I already beat him. So
Yeah.
who's next?
Didn't he have a comment like last week? He's like, if you give me $5 billion, I wouldn't do a show with him.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like there is so much bad blood between he and Conor McGregor. I mean,
Yeah.
until it's like it's ridiculous. And one thing I like about him is he does not want to go back and fight people he's already fought. He's looking for the next challenge,
Right.
which is to me is something crazy.
I'll be honest. I don't think Connor's on his level.
No.
He's not.
No.
He's not on his level. I'll give you pound for pound on striking, fine. Grappling and ground game, it's not even close. And then we talk about cardio, which is the third component of MMA. Cardio, it's not even close. Anything after the third and fourth round, when they fought, the biggest round Conor had was in that third round.
Right.
He actually landed some bombs and was very proficient. But as soon as the fourth round came around, he spent everything in the third round. The first 2 rounds, he was on his back most of the time.
Right.
The fourth round comes around, there's nothing in the gas tank.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was it.
Pretty much.
What were you going to say, Zach?
Oh, I was just gonna say. I remember when
Some dinner.
was it the last time they fought? Whenever they jumped into the stands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, me personally, I wouldn't mind watching that happen again, just the craziness of it all. But yeah, no, I don't. In
I
a
don't need
rematch, Conor McGregor wouldn't win.
No,
No.
not in a million years. I mean, I think the match will
It's a money
actually be
grab.
over with. Yeah, the match will actually be over with, and probably in the first round. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so much hatred there between
Yeah,
those two
you're
guys.
right. I had some, oh man, more than spicy nacho fries. Let's get started with college football tonight. The Big Ten is back. It's going to add another level of enjoyment to my college football Saturday. Oh, real quick, guess what I got today?
What's that?
Salted caramel cookies and cream ice cream.
Okay, that
Yep.
sounds interesting.
This is the one, Zach. You know, this is the one I've been bragging about from Patty Cakes. Okay, this ice cream is.
I'm lost on it, but it sounds good. Like,
This is the one I told you I was so
Right.
falling in
First
love
yeah.
with. Yeah.
like I'll take a scoop.
After the show, I've got some. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with Illinois. The Fighting Lovey Smithinators. They're going on the road to number 14, Wisconsin. And again, when we're talking about Big Ten football right now, who the actual hell has any idea of anything that's going to happen outside of Columbus, Ohio tomorrow? I mean, nobody. We have nothing to gauge it on. Who knows? I don't know what kind of shape these guys are in. I don't know what motivation level they have. I'm not sure of how much of a home field advantage they're going to have. It's just like ground zero, right?
Well, pretty much. I mean,
So Illinois is getting 20 points going on the road to Wisconsin. I'm taking Lovey Smith and the Illini and the 20 points in this game.
really?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Here's the thing.
Mhm.
The Illini have only lost, they've lost by 20 points or more only 4 times to Wisconsin since 1998. How about that for a stat?
That's a good stat.
They've
But
only lost 4 times by more than 20 since 1998. I'm taking the 20 points.
now, what's Lovey's record again? Yeah.
Hey, they beat them last year in Champaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they beat Wisconsin outright on a last second. That was like the worst botched last 5 minutes of a college football game by Paul Christ.
Yeah.
And they've probably come over it. And I'm not saying Illinois is going to win, but you're giving me 20 points. I'm taking it.
You know what? I mean, they don't have their running back from last year, and yeah,
Taylor, yeah.
Taylor, yeah. So yeah, I can see that happening too. I can see Illinois.
Again, we don't know. We
Right.
don't know what we're getting
Right.
with these teams. That's what's so hard. Let's go to a game that I'm really actually kind of interested in. Scott Frost and Nebraska bring Adrian Martinez, junior quarterback, into the horseshoe to take on somehow ranked number 5 in the country, Ohio State, who hasn't played, and Ryan Day. That right there, I'm putting them in the top 5. They have a Heisman contender. They have a great coach. I think Ryan Day showed his worth last year with the job he did in his first year there as head coach. Here's the thing about Nebraska. I literally don't know what I'm getting the last 2 years. The first 2 years there have been abominations for Scott Frost. He was supposed to be the golden boy who came back to resurrect the program from the Phoenix, and it hasn't happened. Last year, 5-7 record. The year before that, in his first season, 4-8. It seems like their quarterback, Adrian Martinez, has been there since, about 1983? And I feel like he's really unproven. Last year, 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, just a hair under 2,000 yards. But leadership, highly questionable. And this is the funny part. And you guys in Nebraska are going to agree with me. I feel like Trump right there. He's going to. And I'm going to tell you right here. This is the point. This is what's so incredible. They were talking about him for the Heisman at the beginning of this, legitimately in Lincoln, talking about this kid for the Heisman. Ohio State, I'm taking, it's 26 points, though. That's a lot of points. I could see them covering that, but you know what? I'm going to take the 26, and I'm going to take Nebraska, but Nebraska's going to lose.
Yeah, Nebraska's going to lose. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out this whole Scott Frost to Nebraska thing. I understand he went to Nebraska. He was the golden boy or whatnot. But his offense simply just doesn't match with what Nebraska is, really known for doing. They're known for pounding the ball, getting the big boys up front, black shirt defense or whatnot. But he has not been able to do anything. So I'm taking Ohio State. I think they cover with the 26 points.
You're taking Ohio State?
Yeah, I'm taking Ohio State. I think they cover with the 26 points.
I'm kind of tempted to ask you if you want to go a hat on it, but I'm just going to leave that one on the table. My confidence level isn't that high. Let's go to number 2, Alabama, and who I think it's like Clemson and Alabama and then a bunch of other people. It's not even close. Alabama is really, really good. And who was Alabama's quarterback last year? I mean, that's my point. Mac Jones is playing so good this year. It's like Tua who? I don't even remember what you're talking about. Tennessee, 2 losses in a row. They get blown out by UGA on the road. Then they come home, and somebody picked UK plus the 6 points. UK dusted them at Rocky Top, 34-7 last week. Tennessee needs a big bounce-back win. They've got the 45th best offense. But again, anytime I talk about Tennessee, I'm going to bring up one name. Quarterback Jarrett Garantano, 2 touchdown passes in 4 games. Talk to me. 2 touchdown passes in 4 games. I'm laying the 21 points with Alabama.
I'm taking up the 21 points of Alabama, too. He threw, 2 touchdowns to the other team last week.
Yeah.
What do you think Alabama's going to do?
At home, after getting blown out, you thought they would have been motivated.
Right.
They weren't.
Right. The Mark Stoops is, they came in, they did what they needed to do, and, they made Tennessee not look like Rocky Top. They look like the rock bottom right now.
They were on an 8-game winning streak, and then the last 2 games, they've absolutely had their lunch handed to them by Georgia and by Kentucky. I don't know. I mean, you start hearing rumblings when you won 8 in a row in college football that Tennessee's back and Pruitt has got them in the right direction. And then you have a game, it's just an absolute throwaway game where you're scratching your head going, how did we lose at home 34-7 to Kentucky? Kentucky's not a rollover, but you can't get blown out at home when you've made it back. It tells me you haven't made it back.
No, you can't get blown out at home. And, with Pruitt being one of the greatest defensive minds in college football, I'm surprised that their defense is as bad as it is. To get blew out by Georgia, then to turn around and get blew out again by Kentucky, who basically lost their quarterback, from last year. So, with Kentucky losing all these pieces and they still turn around and got blew out, I'm trying to look at Pruitt now. Looks like your defensive coordinator and a good recruiter.
No,
well, their defensive line coach just got fired this week. But what were you going to say, Zach?
I was going to say, I think this game against Bama coming up for Tennessee is going to be done by, the first quarter.
Oh, it could be. It could be 21-0 at the third.
I think it might be done by the first quarter. That's how bad it's going to be for Tennessee.
Really,
So
really think about it. Think about who they lost last year in the NFL draft with wide receivers.
I know, but it's like who?
Exactly.
Henry Ruggs who? I don't.
Exactly.
They have so many weapons. It's unbelievably crazy. And I've got a boatload of money. Here's my trifecta this week. I've got Clemson straight up. I've got Alabama straight up. And then I've got a couple mixes where I've thrown in some other team that I feel highly confident about winning. But I've got a boatload of money, just those 2 straight up to win, just money line bets. Speaking of somebody I don't have any confidence in, can somebody on this set or out there tell me how in God's green earth is Notre Dame ranked 3rd in the country? They have close wins against Duke at home and Louisville at home, and then wins against FSU, which you're an alum and you're willing to admit they're not even a very good team this year, and South Florida, who is an absolute train wreck, and they're ranked 3rd in the country, and they're taking on Pitt. Pitt's getting 9.5. I'm going to tease that up. Pitt's got the 3rd best defense in the country. Didn't get blown out by Miami. They were in that game. I don't think Notre Dame is even really that much better than Miami. Here's the thing about Notre Dame right now and their offense. I'm not going to say they're inept. I think that Ian Book is a game manager. He's not going to be explosive, but he's a senior, and so far this year, he's thrown 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for 700 yards. They've got 4 games under their belt. He's thrown 3 touchdowns. And they're the number 3 ranked team in the country, and they've beaten Duke, Louisville, FSU, and South Florida. And possibly none of those teams are bowl teams this year.
Well, I mean,
How are they 3?
Well, I look at Notre Dame, and as you say, you threw up that stat about Ian Book. I mean, Notre Dame is basically a 3-headed monster running team, and basically once you stop that run, as you see last week, and force Ian Book to actually have to pass the ball, they're not that great.
How can they be ranked number 3, Chris? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you got to think. I mean, the Big 10 is just not starting. The Big 12 is already out of it, and so you only have the SEC and the ACC. So, I mean, that's how they're number 3. But I'm pretty sure they're going to drop this week. So it's going to be a done deal.
I think this is going to be a close game. Notre Dame, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to keep beating the drum until somebody answers the front door. I'm going to keep knocking on until somebody answers and explains to me every single year they're super hyped, they're way overrated, they go through the season, they play a lackluster schedule, they go 9-1, 10-1, 11-1, then they go down into a bowl game, they play some SEC team or Clemson, and they just get absolutely the doors blown off of their vehicle. It's the same thing every year.
But you have to blame the NCAA for this.
What, Notre Dame sets the schedule?
No, I'm just saying you just got to blame how the actually you got to blame how the conferences actually got into this year. I mean, because you had the Big Ten that sat out, you had the Pac-12 that sat out.
But Ohio State's ranked 5th right now.
I know, but
wouldn't you put Ohio State ranked higher than Notre Dame, even though they haven't even played?
I mean, yeah, I mean they would
if they played on a neutral site right now.
I mean, Ohio State would beat them 10 out of 10 times. So,
my gosh, at least.
So I mean,
they beat them 9 out of 9 times, and Notre Dame wouldn't show up for the 10th.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's my point.
That's my point.
Yeah. So I mean, until the Big 12 actually, the Big 10 actually plays, I mean, that's what you have to contend with. But I'm pretty sure after this week, they will not be in the top 5.
Can't be. Shouldn't be in the top 3 right now. Penn State goes on the road at Indiana. Sean Clifford comes back as a starting quarterback at Penn State. I like that. They did lose a lot. They lost K.J. Hamler at wide receiver. They lost defensive end Yetur Gross-Matos. They also lost a top cornerback in Jonathan Reed. I don't know what I'm getting with Penn State, except for I know what I'm getting with Sean Clifford. I know what I'm getting in coaching with James Franklin. Top of the line, one of the top 5 coaches in college football, James Franklin. I look for Penn State to get it done. Again, weird lines this week. Penn State's going on the road to Indiana, who's fickle but has a good offense. I don't know what I'm getting with them year in and year out, though. They seem to have a good offensive program. They're only laying 6 points at Indiana. I'm going to take Penn State on a straight-up money line bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm getting.
I don't either. I think I'm gonna take Indiana with the 6. I mean, it's just something about Indiana. They have that one good game in them for some reason.
Right.
And so I think this is gonna be that one good game where they put it up against Penn State. I mean, I'm taking Indiana with the points.
Hey, we're talking about the Big Ten coming into the college football landscape now, weeks into it, 4 or 5 weeks into it at least. Let's talk about the biggest matchup in the Big Ten. It's got to be Jim Harbaugh and his number 18 Michigan Fighting Wolverines going on the road to P.J. Fleck and the Minnesota Golden Gophers, also ranked in the top 20. Minnesota's getting 3. What I really like about that, P.J. Fleck is a proven winner. They get hyped up for big games up there in Minnesota. I think that they're going to be ready for this. And junior quarterback Tanner Morgan, I like this kid. Last year, the program started falling apart at the end of the season, but he showed me enough to let me know he could play on the big stage. Michigan, what have we been talking about for Michigan for the past, 15 years? Quarterback play. Shea Patterson is gone. That experiment didn't work. This year, they're handing over the reins to sophomore quarterback Joe Milton. I don't know what I'm getting with that. He has 7 completion attempts or pass attempts in his whole college career. They have a good running back, 6'2" running back Zach Charbonneau. He had 726 yards and 11 touchdowns. I know he could tote the rock, but what else am I getting? I don't know. I like Minnesota on a teaser here, getting 9 points. That's what I'm going. I'm going with Minnesota. I'm going to tease it up. I'm going to take Minnesota plus the 9.
Yeah, I mean, we have Harbaugh, and every year Harbaugh talks a lot of smack. He tries to get these teams all hyped up, but for some reason they never come through. And like you said, I don't know what you're getting with Michigan, but I know what I'm getting out of PJ Fleck and his guys. I mean, I think those guys are going to row the boat, and I think they're going to pull it out over Michigan tomorrow.
Is this a must-win? I hate to say a must-win in Game 1 of Jim Harbaugh's 5th season, but if he doesn't win here, we start cranking up the machine about is he the guy to bring Michigan back. I don't want to hear that he's had 3 10-win seasons because when it really comes down to it, he's had 2 straight top 5 recruiting classes. So he's bringing in the talent. 3 different offensive coordinators in his 5 years. He's starting his 5th year now. He's had 3 different offensive coordinators. He's 10-14 against top 25 teams, Jim Harbaugh. Not good. It gets worse when he plays top 10 teams. He's 2-11 at $8 million a year. I mean, how much is he getting? $7 or $8 million a year. The last win against Ohio State. When was the last time Michigan beat Ohio State? What year?
Ooh, that was what?
$20 right now. If you can give me the answer.
07.
Nope.
It had to be like 2006.
No. 2011.
Oh, 2011.
2011.
Oh, wow.
Last year against Ohio State, you got to beat your rivals, right?
Yep.
You get the Learjet, you get the $8 million a year. You got to start beating Michigan State on a consistent basis. You got to beat Penn State. You have to start beating Ohio State. Last year, 2019, Ohio State beat the living life out of them, 56-27. 2018, Ohio State gets a big win, 62-39. 2017, Ohio State again gets the win, 31-20. And in 2016, they broke their hearts, 30-27. It's got to start happening for Jim Harbaugh. I said last year, it's time to pull the plug. When he took the Louisiana transfer, Shea Patterson, 3 games into his tenure there, I could see it's not working. You and I talked last year at the beginning of the show about Jim and Michigan and his record, and he can't beat his rival. He's got to win this game. I think it's a must-win. But like I said, Minnesota, I believe in Minnesota. I believe in Tanner Morgan. I believe in PJ Fleck. It's a home game. It's going to be on primetime. Everything swings that way. You're giving me 9 points.
Yeah. It's crazy. It is unfortunate because, like, you know, you had all this hype about Jim Harbaugh coming to the Big Ten to save Michigan, and it's like all of a sudden Michigan is like that one team that couldn't beat the Bulls because they had Michael Jordan.
Right.
So it's like they're going up against Ohio State, who seems to always just reload and just comes back with either a great quarterback or great running back or great receiver or somebody, or just an excellent defense. And so it's like Michigan is just caught up in that conundrum of how are we going to beat Ohio State because they're just that so much farther ahead.
Yeah, they are. They can't. And speaking of Ohio State, how about the job that Luke Fickell has done? Ex-defensive, wasn't he defensive coordinator? Yeah, defensive coordinator at Ohio State under Urban Meyer. Takes over at Cincinnati. He's got them ranked number 9 in the country. And I said at the top of the show, we're talking about a game here between Cincinnati and SMU with 2 great coaches. I like Luke Fickell. How about Sonny Dykes and what he's done at SMU? Bringing in Shane Buechele, Texas transfer. He's worked out really well. Cincinnati, 49th best offense in the country, 14th best defense. Then when we look at SMU, 4th best offense, 45th best defense, very equally matched, 2.5 point spread playing at SMU. This is one of those. I even have this written down. Cincinnati on a teaser plus 8.5. I scratched it out and said I'm taking SMU on a teaser plus 3.5. I just believe in SMU more. I believe in their offense. I'm taking SMU on a teaser. I'll take the 3.5 points. It's over a field goal. But it could go either way, but I want to take SMU in the points in a close game.
Yeah, I mean, I like what SMU has done, you know, even with them losing Rhett Lashley to Miami, offensive coordinator. But I'm going to go with defense over there. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Go with Cincinnati.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with you. They're 2 close teams. Like I said, they're bipolar. One of them's really great on offense. The other one's not. The other one's good on defense, and the other one's not. 2 great coaches. I think it's going to be an awesome game that, frankly, nobody's really even talking about this week. It's like off the radar. Number 17, Iowa State goes on the road to Oklahoma State. The Pokes at home, T. Boone Pickens Stadium, laying 3 points. 46th best offense in the country for Oklahoma State. When's the last time you heard that number? They are rushing for 213 yards a game. But how about this? They're ranked 8th in overall defense. When was the last time a Big 12 team was ranked in the top 10 in defense?
Oh, never.
They're ranked 8th. 8th overall. They're 3-0 to start. They're number 6 in the country. Iowa State's 3-1. I'm taking Iowa State plus the 3 points. If you look at their history over the past 10 years going into Stillwater, they have several wins and games that they've played close. I think Mark Campbell's done a good job at Iowa State. They had a freakish loss in a home opener against ULM, I believe it was.
Right.
I'm willing to put that behind them. I'm going to take Iowa State Cyclones. I'm going to take the 3 points.
Yeah, I'm going to take Iowa State in this one, too. I'm going to take Chubb's big brother to go in and pull it out in T-Boone Pickens Stadium.
Really? Chubb's brother?
Yeah. Chubba Purdy. His brother is the quarterback for Iowa State.
You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that. I knew that he was, he's one of the best running backs in the country. But what I didn't know is they're 46. I wouldn't have thought Oklahoma State was 46th in the country in offense.
Yeah.
You always think of them as like 8. If I gave you the numbers 8 and 48, you'd say their defense is 48, their offense is 8.
Right.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
The absolute biggest I don't care game, not even registering on the meter of the Big 12, has to be Oklahoma going on the road to TCU. I labeled this right here. It's my I don't care game of the week. The only thing I like about it is TCU's quarterback, Max Duggan. He can throw efficiently, but he can also run. Mm-hmm. I like that dual threat. They're getting 6.5 points. I tease it up. I get 12.5. I don't know what I'm getting with Oklahoma. They're so bipolar. I mean, their defense is like it is every year for the past 5 years. How can Lincoln Riley be such a great recruiter and be so great on offense, and then when it comes to defense, it's just like a human sieve?
Well,
I mean, they just open up and invite you to the end zone.
Well, I mean, that's the Big 12 for you. I mean, you think about all of the teams in the Big 12. That's what they do. I mean, you look at Texas. Texas, same way.
Terrible defense.
I mean, you would think with Tom Herman being their hard-nosed coach, their defense would be much better. They're not.
They're not.
I mean, you would think West Virginia. They're generally good for being a hard-nosed team, but their defense.
All the years that Dana Holgerson was there,
right.
It was just like high-octane offense.
Exactly.
Right.
So when you look at the Big 12, I mean, that's what you're going to get. So, I mean, but I love TCU in this game. I think Gary Patterson boys pulls it out.
Yeah, I have to agree. They played tough against a defense that wasn't that good in Texas, but they got the win. They stayed with the course. The kids didn't quit. They got a good win on the road. TCU is getting 6.5. I think they cover the 6.5. Yeah. It might be one that I tease up to get the 12.5. A game that is so off of the record, there's no reason we should be talking about it except one thing. It's Southern Miss going on the road to take on a 4-0 Liberty team, the Liberty Flames. Nobody's talking about them, but if you've seen them, they have a great offense. They play tough defense. And who is the coach for Liberty?
Liberty. Oh, my guy from Ole Miss. Can't think of the guy's name. Oh, I can't think of his name.
Hugh Freeze.
There you go.
Don't you hate that?
I know, right?
Hey, Hugh Freeze. They're giving 13.5. Listen, they have Liberty ranked outside the top 25 with a great offense. They're ranked 33rd. So you have to go into others receiving votes and then count down to 33, and that's where Liberty is at 4-0. So what the pollsters are saying is that teams like Coastal Carolina, North Carolina State, Tulsa, Marshall are all better than a 4-0 Liberty team that went into Syracuse last week and took them apart.
Yes.
And Syracuse isn't awesome.
No, they're not.
But Dino Babers isn't a joke. And they're not some scrub D1 team. They're competitive. And they went on the road and looked really good. They have a really good running game, Liberty. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen Liberty play, try and see this game. Look up the highlights against just the running highlights. Because there was 2 runs for over 50 yards last week.
Right.
Against Syracuse. And again, Syracuse isn't Clemson and Alabama. We're not putting them in that category. But I think Liberty on a national level is a lot better than – nobody's talking about Liberty.
No.
They're 4-0. I like them. They're laying 15. That's the other team I have. I've got Liberty, Clemson, and Alabama this week in a money line bet for like $100.
Yeah,
to win 24 or 30 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Liberty is doing. I actually, this is the year for the smaller teams to actually get up here and make some noise. I mean, because you don't have all of these teams playing playing
Yet.
these games yet.
Yeah.
Yet. So I mean,
Coastal Carolina ranked
right.
25th.
right. So you have teams like Coastal Carolina, even
App
Georgia
State.
or Georgia Southern, App State.
Yep.
All of these little small colleges. This is your time to actually get up and make some noise because you don't have the Pac-12 in yet.
Yeah.
So definitely, but I'm looking for Liberty to go ahead and put that game out too.
Last game on my college football lineup, number 11 Miami. Wow, they were really getting hyped before they went into Clemson, weren't they? Tough game last week against Pitt. We said it was going to be close. I took Pitt plus the 13. They lost by 12. I hit my number on that one. They're playing against Bronco Mendenhall at home. Virginia goes on the road to Miami. Miami's laying 11. I think Miami gets it done all over the place. I like Bronco Mendenhall. He comes over from BYU, tries to change the culture of thinking, but they're 1-3 right now. Miami has got a little bit of backbone. They want to bow up. They did it last week against a team in Pitt that I think is better than Virginia. They stay at home. De'Aaron King is better than average at passing. Super good mobile quarterback. Every single week his confidence is gaining in that offensive system that Manny Diaz has them in. I like Miami plus the 11 at home. Or minus the 11. I'm sorry. They're laying 11.
Yeah, I just looked at Virginia this year, and they're not the Virginia from last year. And really, I mean, Virginia really hasn't really been that great this year. But I'm going Miami for this game too. I'm laying 11. Take the 11.
Yep, I'm going with Miami. We want to thank all of our over 1,000 subscribers. Last week, Chris, we had over 4,000 views. We're over 1,000 subscribers. All of our numbers are going in the right direction. We want to thank each and every one of you out there for supporting us here in the first round. Tell your friends about the show. Help grow us to epic proportions. You say, Ron, I love the show, but I want to be a part of it. I'm going to tell you how. You can get a hold of us here in a couple different ways. Follow us down on the bottom in the chat. Leave a comment or question. We'll read it live on the air every single week. Also, send in your emails. You can get us at thefirstraundrd@gmail.com. Hit the subscription button right now. Then when you're done, move a little farther over to the right. Hit the notification button. YouTube will let you know every single week when we upload new shows. If you've missed any part of this show or older shows, you can catch us on YouTube. Check out our archive videos. Speaking of emails, Marco1982 comes in and asks, Seattle seems to be a top 5 team in the NFL. Besides Russell Wilson, there isn't a lot of star power on this roster. How is this that they are winning? I think Russell Wilson is a part of it. I think the emergence of DK Metcalf at wide receiver is a big part of it. And also, I think that we're not considering a factor that in the NFL means more than actually in college, which is the coaching. Yeah. Pete Carroll is not a joke. Yeah. Pete Carroll did it on a college level. He's done it on the pro level. He's been to multiple Super Bowls. He's a Super Bowl winner. I think he's a winner overall in general. Look at the dynasty he built at USC. And I think that's it. I think it's Pete Carroll. I think it's Russell Wilson. I think they have a better than average defense. It's not the Legion of Boom, but it doesn't need to be when you have the NFL's MVP, and that's exactly what I think Russell Wilson is. And Pete Carroll brings it all together. He's laid back, chewing gum, great coach. He's a player's coach. And DK Metcalf this year, holding on to balls, not fumbling. I think that's the key. I think Seattle's one of the top 3 teams in the NFL, and those are the reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to also, just listening to a tidbit with Russell Wilson when he was talking about DK Metcalf. And when they came in as this year, DK asked Russell, what can I do to get better?
Hold on to the ball and don't fumble.
So, what they did is before, this whole corona outbreak happened, these guys would go down to Mexico, to Cabo together when they go take a vacation. And they would go out and go run routes. Mm-hmm. And they were able to build that chemistry up where now DK Metcalf knows exactly what Russell Wilson is thinking when he's throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. So that relationship has just gotten tighter. And, now you have this dynamic quarterback to wide receiver relationship, which is just now carrying over to the game.
Yeah, I think that's I'm 100% with you. Marco1982, thank you for chiming in with us. Moving on to the NFL, big games this weekend. I'm not going to start with the biggest games out there. I want to hit on Detroit and Atlanta. Atlanta gets it done last week against Minnesota. I think they take that momentum. They have a great offense. We know that. They're giving 2.5 points against Matt Patricia. I'm just waiting for the hammer to drop on this kid. He's a defensive coordinator, and that's it. They do have a high-powered offense when Matthew Stafford is playing well. But at this point in the season, what's Detroit's motivation? and they're going on the road. Atlanta's laying a small 2.5. I take Atlanta. I lay the 2.5.
Yeah, I take Atlanta too. I'm loving what Calvin Ridley is doing, putting up great yardage. I mean, he was the guy, with Julio being hurt. But now with Julio coming back in the fold, I think they're going to put up points. I take Atlanta.
Okay, Cincinnati going on the road with Joe Burrow. I think he's having a great rookie breakout season. They're taking on my Cleveland Kardashians. The Kardashians are coming off a bad butt whooping at the hands of Pittsburgh. Zach's back there shaking his head. You got to let last week go, homie. It's a new week. But I think the Browns bounce back. They're only given 3 points. I think a big part of that game last week was that the Cleveland didn't have their running game going. No Nick Chubb. That's a huge factor. I'm not making excuses, but I think they bounce back. They're laying 3 points. I like them to lay the 3 at home against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I like Cleveland in this game. I think this is going to be a bounce back game. I think you're going to see Joe Burrow again emerge, to become the quarterback that we've seen him play at LSU. He's only going to get better, but I'm taking Cleveland in this game.
Yeah. Bills go on the road, and they play the free spot on the bingo board known as the JETS, Jets. Bills are laying 12 points in this game. I'm going to lay the 12. I got all the confidence in the world in the Bills. Home field advantage means nothing here. I think Sam Darnold looks lost. I think Adam Gase should be locked up in a cage and have his DNA destroyed so none of it can seep out and procreate and have other coaches like him on NFL sidelines. I'm taking the Bills minus the 12 points all day long.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills in this game too. I think this is a great game for Josh Allen to have a reset and get himself back on the right track. I'm taking the Bills with the 12.
Dallas Circus goes on the road to play a team that doesn't have a name in the Washington, D.C. area football team. Washington's getting one. I don't even want to take any more of my life talking about anybody in this game, anybody in this division. Washington plus the 1. I'll take the former Redskins to beat the Dallas Circusettes.
Wait a minute. Dallas fans, I'm trying to figure this out. You guys were hyped about having Andy Dalton as your backup quarterback.
Yeah, hyped. Never won a playoff game.
What happened last week? I'm taking Washington. Zeke, you can't fumble the ball, man. As a matter of fact, Zeke is on the bench, so we'll see what they're going to do. 2
fumbles in 2 times having the ball.
Yeah, consecutive fumbles. Yeah,
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's the answer. I had somebody that I know telling me that. No,
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy's the answer. We've got all the talent. Yeah, you do have all the talent in the world, but until Jerry Jones dies, you're not going to win in Dallas. Moving on, Green Bay coming off a inexplicable, I think, loss to Tampa Bay by as much as they lost. Tampa Bay's a good team, but no way Green Bay should have lost by that much. They go on the road laying a skinny 3.5 to a 1-5 Houston team that frankly doesn't have a running game, doesn't have a head coach, and they're 1-5. I'm probably a sucker on this one. I'm going to take Green Bay, and I'm going to lay the 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay in this. I think, having Romeo Crennel there as a coach, to coach up this defense, it's going to make it a little bit tough, but I think Aaron Rodgers rebounds this week.
Let's get into a game that Zach, I'm sure, wants to have a comment about, and it's going to revolve around the Steelers winning in some way, shape, or form. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as last week. Last week, they didn't have to go up against a running game. This week, they will. They go on the road to take on Mike Vrabel's Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry. I think one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL. I don't really believe in Tannehill. I think he's another one. A game manager, not explosive. He's not going to lose the game for you, but you're going to have to rely on that defense and that running game to get a win. Titans laying 1.5 in this game against the Steelers. I'm going to tease this up and take the Steelers plus 7.5 going on the road to Tennessee. I think the Steelers get the win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really close game. I actually like what Tennessee's been able to do, but I also love that guy Claypool from Pittsburgh. This guy can run the ball, he can catch the ball. I'm waiting to see him pass the ball, but this guy is basically a double threat. But I think Tennessee, they're going to play. They're going to run the clock down, and I think Tennessee pulls it out.
Yeah, that's not bad there, Chris, but I think the same game plan the Steelers used last week for Cleveland is what's going to happen this week. The Steelers, they're going to sell out to stop the run.
Yeah.
That's gonna be their main thing. They're gonna try to limit Derrick Henry and force Ryan Tannehill to win the game, and it's definitely gonna be a close one. But I don't know. The offense has been looking good for the Steelers. They've been putting up at least 20 points each game, and that defense is coming around. The Tennessee Titans did just lose their right tackle as well, and that's gonna hurt their O-line a little bit. So.
Bucks go on the road to play Chucky and the Las Vegas Raiders. It's for some reason it's easy for me to say that than it is the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know why. I grew up in San Diego. I like the Bucks to get it done in that one. KC goes on the road to take on Denver. I'm going to tease this one down. KC is given 9 points. I'll take KC and lay the 3. 49ers go on the road to New England. I think Bill Belichick is going to be inside the head of Kyle Shanahan on this one. Besides that, the 49ers this year are playing bipolar. New England's laying 2 points. I have a high confidence level on this one. I'm taking New England. I'm going minus the 2. Chris, let's get into Seattle. Sunday night game at Arizona. Arizona looked good against Dallas, but I have several family members that have been dead for 25 years. They all played Dallas and beat them too. Seattle's 5-0. We just talked about why they're such a great team in the NFL right now. Kyler Murray, though, looks electric. I like this guy. Cliff Kingsbury has Arizona going in the right direction. Seattle's only laying 3.5 small points, but I'm going to lay those points with my confidence level in Seattle being so high. I like Seattle to get it done. I'll lay the 3.5 on Sunday night.
You know what? Kyler Murray looks really well. But, I mean, statistically, when you look at Kyler Murray passing the ball, I don't know if it's a lot of drop passes or whatnot, but statistically, I mean, he's an excellent deep ball thrower, but when it comes down to making him having to read that coverage in the immediate offense, it's not that well. So I'm looking for the linebacker play in Seattle to make a big difference in that game. So I'm looking for Seattle to go ahead and pull that game out. But
how about the Monday Night Football game? Chicago goes on the road to play the Rams. Chicago, again, one of the top 3 teams. I like Chicago straight up in this game. On a money line bet, I think they're plus 180. I'm going to take the Bears to get it done on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears too. I think the defense is really going to pull this game out. I'm not too sold on Jared Goff. I mean, in that LA offense, and so I'm looking for that defense of the Bears to actually pull that game out.
Yeah, it's getting to be the best time of the year, I think, for me. The temperature is cooling down. It's not 150 degrees with a humidity of 190% down here in Florida. And that means the holidays are right around the corner, which I love. And Halloween right around the corner. And we thought it would be cool to pick out some of our favorite athletes and some of the best costumes that they've come up with over the last couple years. First one is I wanted to bring up was DeAndre Hopkins. Now, this guy is kind of like Heidi Klum. You know, every year Heidi Klum goes into this like 24-hour cocoon where she has professional makeup artists, wings, and all kinds of exotic costumes that she goes into. He's kind of done the same thing. DeAndre Hopkins dressed up as the genie from Aladdin.
Oh, wow.
That's the one right here, Zach?
Yeah.
Look at the abs on that right there. I mean, I don't know if those are paintbrushed in or if he's really working out that hard, but that's a pretty kicking outfit. Not to be outdone by his Avatar outfit. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen the Avatar.
His Avatar outfit looks pretty kicking.
Man, is he like on some stilts? Because like the Avatars are like 7 feet tall.
No, I mean, how would you describe it, Zach? I mean,
like honestly, it looks like if one of the Avatar people
just stepped out of the set.
Just stepped out of the set.
Yeah,
and just walking around.
He put some time
really
into it.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, he's on his game. Not to be outdone by Heidi Klum or DeAndre Hopkins is Paul George. He dressed up as the Night King from Game of Thrones, which I've never seen.
Wow.
No, don't even get me into it. I know. Everybody in my inner circle.
You're going to look at that picture and not watch the show now? Come on.
No. Fire-breathing dragons and 76-sided dice and Dungeons and Dragons, that stuff doesn't work for me. But Paul George's outfit, is it up there right here?
Yeah.
That, I mean, his...
On point.
Yeah, his costume. Have you seen this one or no?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know exactly what the Night King looks like. So.
It's all iced out. It looks like him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. thank God he makes a lot of money, because if he walked around downtown LA with that outfit, nobody would probably say anything. But he's definitely not going to. It's going to
No,
take
they're
him a long
not.
time to get engaged, because he looks pretty freaky out there. Somebody you wouldn't, I would think with this guy's character,
Right.
would have a really cool and fun time at Halloween dressing up, and that's Dwight Howard.
Right.
He dressed up as, is it Thanos?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm aging myself so
Don-
bad.
Thanos.
Thanos from what? What is this?
The Avengers.
The Avenger. Okay, another series that I've never seen. I mean, it's like every 2 weeks on the show, I'm talking about how old I am. I'm waiting for the emails about, like, you know, AARP jokes, or, you know, when you get your first Social Security check, Ron. I don't know. Anyway, his outfit, though, is pretty tight. I
Yeah.
saw what the real character looks like, and then I see what Dwight Howard did to it. I
Yeah.
think it looked pretty good. Somebody you wouldn't think would spend a lot of time dressing up is former power forward for the Dallas Mavericks, European phenom, Dirk Nowitzki, dressed up as Lurch from the Addams Family.
I can see him as Lurch.
Hey, when you see the picture right here, you see the picture? It sold me. I mean, I look at that and I see Dirk Nowitzki's personality a little bit. It's like he nailed it right there. That's it. I don't know how much makeup he had to put on. I think he just stole a costume from like an Undertaker, and that's about it. The eyes, everything. He needed to have the more pronounced forehead a little bit, but I think he did a good job. And then somebody that goes, I didn't know this about him, but LeBron kind of goes a little all out. He did Edward Scissorhands one year.
Yeah.
He did Michael Myers one year.
Yeah.
And this picture that I found, he did Pennywise.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so again, I'm going to age myself, but what's Pennywise? I know is from what? It's a
It.
horror movie.
It.
Oh, It.
It.
Stephen
yes.
King?
Stephen King.
Okay, I get Saw, It, all those, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. I get them all mixed together.
Right.
But this outfit, is this the one that's up,
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah.
This one looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He looks, doesn't he look exactly like the guy?
Honestly, I wouldn't even be able to tell like that was LeBron. Like it looks that good.
Yeah.
Right, because I was looking at, like, the body features aren't sticking out because, you know,
Right.
LeBron's pretty ripped.
Right.
So you can't tell because he has on this puffy gray outfit right here.
Right.
But check out the makeup on that job right there. That looks like he walked into like Universal Studios and paid somebody to do it because he wanted to do it right. Now, have you seen the one where LeBron does Edward Scissorhands?
Yes, I've seen that one.
That one looks pretty tight too.
Yes.
What I can't stand in looking through some of these outfits is I can't remember who it was, but somebody dressed up as a Lego man or Tom Brady dressed up as a stormtrooper where you just put on the costume
Right.
and not a lot goes into it.
Right.
So it's like, you know, you put on the stormtrooper helmet and you get the gun and you're a stormtrooper.
Right.
You're not getting a lot of points for me for that one.
No.
But when these guys go to this level, especially DeAndre Hopkins, Paul George, LeBron on the makeup thing, you put some makeup into it, you get some, you know, cool props,
Right.
and your costume isn't just out of a bag where you put it on, then you're going to hit a home run with me. Last one I found that I thought was, I'm not going to give this guy a lot of credit. His wife's outfit is actually better than his. Marc-Andre Fleury, goalie for the Las Vegas Golden Knights,
Right.
dressed up as Cousin It from the Addams Family, which seems to be a popular thing. It's such a good outfit you can't even see his face.
Right.
But if you look right here, where his wife is, she's Wednesday, the little girl.
Right.
Yeah, with the tights and the
Yeah,
block
yeah.
shoes and stuff. So as a couple, they really did a good job.
Right.
I'm not giving him too many creative points, but again, this isn't Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. A lot of the stuff that I found, they did a great job with the makeup and they went the extra yard. They didn't just throw a mask on with a little, death trap snap thing on it. They put some time into it. So I thought it would be fun for the holidays to look at some of our favorite athletes and some of the best costumes that they came up with. Having said that, let's wrap up the show and go to Major League Baseball news. Game 3 tonight, 1-1 tied between the Rays and the Dodgers. Buehler going on the bump for the Dodgers, which I think over Kershaw gives them the best chance to win. But having said that, Tampa Bay's going with Charlie Morton, their best pitcher, which gives them a chance to win. I actually think this is a must-game win for the Dodgers. They've got to get over the hump. Game 2, that had to be a win for them, and because it wasn't, I think this makes this a must-win situation, and here's the reason why. If they lose this, Game 4, they're going with Julio Urias.
Right.
How do you say his name, Zach? Do you know Julio Urias?
I think so.
He's actually been their best pitcher over the last 2 months. But then in Game 5, you come back with Clayton Kershaw, who is either going to be lights out or he's going to get bombed in the first 4 innings. He could have back spasms or he could be totally healthy. You're either getting the light on or you're in the darkness with Kershaw. I can't rely on that. If you lose this game, it's downhill from there. The pitching doesn't match up. They're only going with him in Game 3 right now, Bueller, because they want to bring him back for Game 6 and
Right.
have enough rest on that 1 day off to, on Game 7, it's all hands on deck.
Right.
I think that they've jacked. I don't want to criticize Roberts too much, the manager there in LA, but I would have played my hand a little bit differently with setting up my pitching rotation. But I think I've got money on LA. I took LA before the season at like 6-1. If they win, I'm going to clean up. If they lose, I'm not going to lose a whole lot. And I hate LA. I shouldn't even be rooting for them, even though it is for money. But I think if you're a Dodger fan, it's a must-win situation in Game 3 tonight. And it's a must-win against the other team, one of their best pitchers. I know Tampa can talk about Snell and a couple other guys in their starting rotation, but I think Morton gives them the best chance to win right now, even though in Game 2, Snell was lights out. It's a must-win.
Yeah, in the words of my boy Lee Corso, I'm going to take off this Dodger hat.
Hey,
And I'm gonna
there we go.
throw
That's
on-
looking a little better there.
throw on
You
this
think Bueller gets
Rays
lit up
hat.
tonight? Who are you taking tonight? That's what I want to know.
I'm going to take Tampa to win this game tonight, man.
Tampa to win
I'll
tonight.
take
Let's
Tampa to win.
go.
I'm going to watch some of it. I'm going to watch a little college football. Let's go on to NBA news. One thing coming out of the NBA, they announced today that they're looking to start the season December 22nd so they can hit their Christmas games, which I know if you're a big NBA fan, everybody loves the Christmas games. It's usually great matchups of all the top-ranked teams. To me, we just got done with the season. I don't know what's going on with COVID. And less than 8 weeks from now, we're going to start the season again. And they haven't even announced, what does this mean for preseason? It's too soon for me. You got to let me decompress in the offseason and get into my football. Bring out the schedule halfway through January. It's only 2 or 3 weeks more, but I need my break.
Well, we're not gonna. The NBA is not gonna miss Christmas. That's like telling like a shopper not to shop on Black Friday. I mean, that's just something they're not gonna do.
It's 2020. Anything goes. Coastal Carolina is ranked in the top 25, Chris.
Yes, it is. But I mean, you're not gonna miss out on that holiday. I mean, that's the day. I mean, NFL has Thanksgiving. NBA has.
Is
Christmas.
it too soon?
I mean, I would think so. It was too soon. I mean, they just ended the season. But my question with the NBA is like, how are you gonna pull this off again?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do a bubble again? Like, what's the deal with that?
And where's the preseason?
Well, I mean, preseason.
What do you have, a two-week preseason?
I mean,
That means you're starting back around the 14th?
pretty much, man.
It's just too soon. This is a money grab again. They
down
made it work with the bubble, and I get that. But I don't want to see the NBA for a good 3.5 months.
Well, I'm sorry. They have to get that Christmas money, man.
I know. It's all about some money grab. Chris, what else is going on in the world of sports?
Well, I mean, we have Michael Jordan doing something that, we're starting to see a lot of celebrities do as far as philanthropy. And, Michael Jordan, he partnered with Norvell Health in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he actually helped fund his second clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I mean, I think this is something that's very great for Michael to do, especially right now going on with COVID and, with issues, people with concerns around healthcare. I think Michael Jordan's doing a big thing, and I mean, I say, kudos to Mike.
Yeah, there's specifically those two clinics, the one that's going to open and this one, are reaching out to people who don't have health insurance.
Right.
Which I think is an amazing thing. It kind of makes it easier when you have half the money in the world, which Michael Jordan does. That music can mean only one thing. It's time to thank our support staff. Our man on the board, Zach, doing a great job for us. My partner to the left, as he's been for over a year now, Chris Roberts. El Presidente, Chet Forty, for all of us here at the first round. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, become a part of the family. Tell your friends about the first round, help grow us to epic populations. We will be right back here next Thursday talking about all the winners that I picked and how much money you made off of them and everything else going on in the world of sports. Until then, take care, everybody.